to Maelstrom Gaming. My name is Malachi Gardner. Today I'm going to be finishing up my playthrough of the Caves of Nibin-Dum. I hope you all enjoy the video. Alright, so it's another silver harp, so that's good. There's nothing in my hand I want to play, so I will spend one resource to use Elven Light. Add that to my hand, along with Elrond's Council. Cost 0. If you control a unique Noldor character, give another character +1 willpower until the end of phase, and lower your threat by 3. So that's very useful, and it is in fact going to be something I use as my threat gets high enough. Then I'm going to discard Elven Light and gain a resource. And I still actually don't have anything I want to play right now, and I have a lot of resources, so let's go ahead and use Elven Light again. So I'll add this to my hand along with Galadriel's Handmaiden. So this is a simple 2 costs for 2 willpower, but then you also do get 1 defense and 1 health, but really, she's going to be questing every time. Response: after Galadriel's Handmaiden enters play, choose a player. That player reduces his threat by 1. Let's go ahead and play this. So these go into our hand, but then we'll play Galadriel's Handmaiden. So it costs 2 resources, we'll reduce our threat down by 1, and now we will have 2 extra willpower to deal with. Now, we do have Rally West in play, or rather, it's out of play in the victory pile, victory display. So all of our heroes get +1 willpower, which is great. We'll go ahead and quest with all of those said heroes, as well as Galadriel's Handmaiden, which is going to produce us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 willpower. So that's great. So we have 6 from Arwen herself, 3 from Idrian, 3 from Aragorn, and then 2 from Galadriel's Handmaiden. So that's nice. We get the Goblin Runners here, so they're going to have 1 threat, 3 attack, 1 defense, 2 health, but they also surge, so we're going to draw. Oh dear me. Another great cave troll. So that's not good. So we'll have to face him, but we do have a lot of cards here that we can use now. So they have 4 threat, we have 14, so we're going to place 10. So that's a lot. I was not hoping to get a great cave troll going into the second stage, which is again a lot of fighting. But oh well, there's 2 of those in the deck, so we're bound to draw 2 of those. As you search the Caves of Nibin-Dum, you are ambushed by goblins. When revealed, add Goblin Chieftain to the staging area. Each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a different enemy of their choice and adds it to the staging area, shuffle the encounter deck. The goblins are led by a large chieftain who whips them into frenzy. His soldiers attack you with reckless savagery, and you struggle to gain the upper hand. During the encounter phase, treat each enemy's engagement cost as if it were 0. The stage gets +4 quest points for each enemy in play. So, the Goblin Chieftain here, and then I will find that little guy that I had earlier. I can't remember what they're called, but I'm going to bring that guy back in. The Scavengers, because they're nice and weak. So we will have to discard a card because of the Scavengers, and we discard a Mithril Shirt, which is fine because you can only have 1 of those in play. It's denoted by that unique symbol, so we already read what those do. The Goblin Chieftain has X's for all his stats except for 8 health, and X is the stage number of the quest, which is currently 2. And he cannot take damage and cannot have attachments. Forced. After Goblin Chieftain attacks, either remove X progress from the quest or return it to the staging area. So, lots of X's there, but all the X's are 2s currently. So now we have 4 enemies out there. One of them is an unkillable goblin, and then we have a great cave troll. So this will be good. Very, very tough. So we'll go ahead and deal out all of our cards here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and use both copies of Unexpected Courage attached to our heroes to ready them. Okay, so those characters are readied. We have a feint, so let's go ahead and play that. So the Goblin, so the Great Cave Troll is not going to be attacking this turn. Then we'll have Goblin Town Scavengers go unblocked, and no shadow effect will be dealt. And we're going to go ahead and deal that damage to Idrian. So the Mithril Shirt will block that, and so no damage will be dealt there. So that is great. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to have the Goblin Runners attack Idrian. She's going to block to reduce the amount of damage there. So the Goblin Runners have 3 attacks, so it's going to be reduced to 1. But we'll see what the shadow effect is. Alright, so attacking enemy gets +2 attack. So that's going to increase the total attack to 5. her armor reduces that to 3. The mithril, so the 3 damage will go through, but the mithril shirt will reduce that by 1. And unfortunately, I do not have any more swift strokes, so that will go be a total of 2 damage dealt to Idrian, but really not too bad. But yeah, those shadow effects can often be quite annoying and detrimental occasionally. Okay, so now we just have the Goblin Chieftain, who's going to be attacking for 2, because X is equal to the stage number, which is 2. I'm thinking that I actually want Aragorn to be able to attack, because that's 3 damage, he has 3 attacks, so if I can take out one of these trolls, or even just the 2 little smaller goblins, I think that'd be really good if I can just attack as much as possible so that we can get through this as quickly as possible. So I think that would be the good thing to reduce the amount of attacks that can come later on. So I think I'm actually going to take the Goblin Chieftain's attack undefended. Hopefully there's no annoying shadow effect. And good, there isn't. So no shadow effect. It's going to be 2 damage dealt, and I'm going to deal to Idrian, but mithril armor will reduce that down to 1. So only 1 damage is dealt there. Alright, so 2 damage will then go through. And so I could deal that to Idrian. That would be reduced to 1 if I did that, because then the mithril armor would block 1 of those, so only 1 damage would go through. But if I do that, then she'll only have 1 life remaining, so I don't really want to do that. So I think I'll actually give it to Aragorn, just kind of save her a bit of trouble there. Okay, so then moving on into the player attacks, we've now resolved all the enemy attacks. Let's go ahead and finish off some of these orcs here. Alright, so I think taking out the cave troll is the highest priority because he's just so powerful. So let's go ahead and attack with the Bowmaster, and then the Realmark Knight, and then Aragorn. That'll leave 3 damage. And then I could just use a Might of Tactics at the beginning of my turn, or now, I guess could also work, to finish him off, so that would be that. And then we have one last guy, and the one last Realmark Knight could do 2 damage to one of these 2 Goblin Town Scavengers, or the Goblin Runners, so that Runners are more powerful. But they have 1 armor, so only 1 damage actually be dealt if I did that. Now, they have their ability, which allows you to discard them to, when they attack, to get an additional 2 extra damage, which would allow me to defeat the Goblin Runners. But I'm not sure if I want to do that because we still have 2 more stages to go through, and one of those stages is going to be a big fight with him. So we want as much attack power as possible, I think. Let's just do 1 damage there to the Goblin Runners. And, man, I think that is the best thing to do. I don't want to discard them, although, I don't know, maybe discarding them to be able to prevent that next attack from happening is worth it. I don't know. Either way, though, one thing I did forget is the force ability on this chieftain. When he attacks, you either remove 2 progress tokens from the quest or return it to the staging area, so he's going to go back there. So, yeah, that is that. Okay, so I think that I will go ahead and deal 1 damage to Aragorn to trigger the Might of Tactics, dealing 1 damage to him, and then the 3 damage will be dealt to the Great Cave Troll, which will defeat him, so he is no more. And then we cannot use the Might of Tactics anymore because we have used that up. Let's just place a progress token on that just to mark that we've used that. I can no longer use that for the rest of the campaign, which will end after the scenario, so just basically for the rest of the game at this point. So we have 2 guys left. Man, I'm really wondering if we should actually discard one of these Realmark Knights to actually get rid of one of these enemies. I don't know, for now let's not. So let's go ahead and go on to the refresh phase, readying all of our cards. And there are quite a few cards to ready. Okay. Alright, so now we get resources. And our threat goes up to 37, which is not terrible. And another hasty stroke. I kind of do wish I had one of those last turn, but oh well. So let's go ahead and discard Elvish Light and grab an extra resource for Aragorn. Then, let's actually play Elven Light. So add that back to our hand, and we'll also gain, another Elven Light. Okay, having 2 of those is not the most useful, I guess. I mean, it could be useful. but would have rather drawn, like, I don't know, Gandalf or something else like that. But oh well. Let's go ahead, and there's nothing really I want to play for my hand. There's a lot of just reactionary type cards here. So nothing big there that I want to play. So let's go ahead and quest with Arwen. And currently we need 12 quest points for the 12 progress for the surprise attack to be finished. But that will be quickly going down as we defeat all of these enemies. So let's go ahead and just go with Arwen, who has a total of 6 willpower, and then Galadriel's Handmaiden, which has 2. And we will draw the Goblin Town Scavengers. We'll discard a card, and ooh, it's Gandalf. That is not good. So he gets +5 threat. So it's going to be with 6, 7, 8, and we are going with 8 willpower. So nothing happens. Okay. Then these guys are all going to engage us because again, their engagement costs are treated as if they are 0. So that's that, and we're really running low on cards here. So we only have 2 more left. Which maybe we'll be able to benefit from that potentially. We'll see. Alright, so then I think that I'm going to go ahead and use Idrian to block the Goblin Runner. And it says, if this attack is undefended, discard an ally you control. So, good thing that is defended. So we're going to prevent all that damage. The first 2 are going to be blocked by your armor. The last one is going to be negated by the Mithril Shirt. We're going to red her with Unexpected Courage, and then she's going to, we're going to not block the Goblin Town Scavenger's attack. So this one says deal 1 damage to a character you control. We'll go ahead and actually target Idrian with that, because the Mithril Shirt will make that 0, and then the 1 attack point from that attack will also be negated to 0. 1 damage will be nothing. Alright, we'll do that same thing, not blocking this Goblin Town Scavenger, no shadow effect here. And the 1 damage will go to Idrian, and the Mithril Shirt will again reduce that amount by 1, so it'll be 0. And then we finally have the Goblin Chieftain, and so I just want to calculate, like, do I want to block this or not? So let's see. If I do not block it, Idrian will be able to contribute 3 extra damage, which could be good. She could take down a Scavenger, but if I block it, that would reduce the amount of damage it does, which is also a good thing to do. Alright, I'm going to block it. So we're going to go ahead and draw this card here. It says, attacking enemy makes an additional attack immediately after this one. Deal a new shadow card for that attack. I could cancel that if I wanted to with my Hasty Stroke, which would prevent the attack from going through for the second one. So, you know, drawing an extra attack would not be good. So I don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and cancel that, and that'll be 1 resource there. So that's not going to go, it's not going to happen on my watch. So 2 damage is going to be dealt, but the shield, the defense will negate that. So no damage will actually go through, which is good. Then Aragorn will attack the Goblin Town Scavenger, defeating him. He will ready with Unexpected Courage and then attack a second Goblin Town Scavenger and defeat him. Then the Riddlemark Knight will attack the Goblin Runners and will defeat him, and there we go. And then the Goblin Chieftain was supposed to go back to the staging area. So now the total quest point value for surprise attack is now down to 4 because we have defeated all of the monsters except for 1. Okay, so now we can go ahead. Increase our threat is going to be going up to 38, and then we'll start the new round. So, new card is going to be another Galadriel's Handmaiden, which I am assuming I'm just going to end up playing here. We're going to discard an Elven Light, give 1 resource to Aragorn's Pool, and then, yeah, let's play Galadriel's Handmaiden just to get 2 extra willpower there, also to decrease our threat by 1. Okay. Let's go ahead and play Elvish Light. So that goes back to our hand, and then we draw another one. Okay, so we have all 3 copies of that card in our hand now. So that's nice, I guess. Okay, so now moving on to the quest phase, I am just going to go ahead and play No Time to Waste as the draw 1 card action, and draw Rally the Rest. So draw a lot of cards here that I don't actually like have a use for. They're good cards. They're not like bad cards or anything like that, but I'm just drawing multiple copies of cards I can only really use one of. Okay, so let's go ahead and quest with both of Galadriel's Handmaidens and Arwen. So that's a total of 10 willpower. Let's go ahead and go with Aragorn as well, so we'll exhaust him, and so that goes up to 12, so that should be enough. Alright, Crumbling Ruin. Each player must exhaust a character and discard the top card of their deck if able. If the printed cost of the discarded card is equal to or higher than the remaining hit points of the exhausted character, discard the exhausted character. Okay, so that's not good. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that with a Test of Will. So we don't have to deal with that because most likely that will kill one of our characters, and I don't like that. Okay, so now Goblin Chieftain is going to engage us. Actually, nope, skipped a step there. So actually, we have 2 threat here, and then we have a total of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 willpower, so 11 progress tokens can be placed here. Since there's one enemy in play, the quest point value is 4, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next stage here. The goblins retreat down a dark tunnel, and you chase them into a large hall of many pillars. A wide chasm runs the width of the hall, and the goblins race across a large plank. Their chieftain casts the plank into the depths of the chasm and disappears, leaving you stranded on the other side. Set Goblin Chieftain out of play. Add Cracked Pillar to the staging area. As you search for a way across, you see that one tall pillar near the edge of the chasm has cracked where it meets the ceiling. If you topple the pillar, it could serve as a bridge. It could serve to bridge the gap. Forced. Reveal an additional encounter card during the quest phase. Progress cannot be placed on Cracked Pillar while it is in the staging area. After Cracked Pillar leaves play as an explored location, advance to stage 4A. So we're going to swap these out. And Cracked Pillar is the location we need to clear in order to move progress to this location. This quest rather. 2 threat there, 2 quest points. If Cracked Pillar is in the staging area, it gains the first player may declare an attack against Cracked Pillar during the combat phase, as if it was an enemy engaged with him. Use Cracked Pillar's threat as its defense for that attack, and then travel or remove 4 damage from Cracked Pillar to travel. Alright, so we need to smash this. So I'm going to have both my Riddlebark Knights. I'm going to have both my Riddlebark Knights and the Bowmaster attack. And so its armor is 2, and so we're going to be able to place 4 damage tokens on it. And so I could place more, I guess, but it's kind of overkill. And so then next turn, during the travel phase, we will be able to travel to that location and then clear it on the turn after. So there we go. Alright, we're up to 38 threat. Draw a card, and it is Skinbark. So the card we looked at earlier, which is actually the card I wanted. So I'm actually going to go ahead and play that. So he is going to enter play exhausted. And so next turn he's going to be able to do a bunch of cool stuff. So we're going to discard Elven Light, gain 1 resource, then use that resource to play Elven Light. And actually, we'll use one of Arwen's resources to play Elven Light, goes back to our hand, and we draw another Galadriel's Handmaiden. Okay, so that could be nice for us. If not anything else, just a chump block. So, yeah, that could be useful. So let's go ahead and play that. We have 3 of those now, go down to 37 threat. And then we'll go ahead and quest with all 3 Galadriel's Handmaidens. And Arwen, we'll leave everyone else, because that's plenty of willpower. And so we will draw this card here. Alright, Stalking Goblin. So we'll go ahead and shuffle this deck up. And when Stalking Goblin engages us, we will add a Goblin Sniper into the staging area. Alright, so now the trolls are back in the deck. So we're all shuffled up, and I really hope we can just make it through the rest of this game without having to fight those giant trolls, because those are big and hard. So we can go ahead and travel to the Cracked Pillar, remove those damage tokens there. Stalking Goblin's going to engage us. We have to actually now look through the deck again for the Goblin Sniper, and then we shuffle it up once more. All shuffled up. Stalking Goblin is going to attack. We will block it with Idrian, and it does no damage. Then we are going to just use our Riddlemark Knights to defeat the Stalking Goblin. Goblin Sniper is going to deal 1 damage to target character, and we're going to target Idrian. Mithril Shirt blocks that. So we'll go ahead and ready everyone. Okay, and now we have Skinbark contributing 4 additional attack, which is great. So 38 threat, that's where we're at, and we have another Silver Harp, which we don't really have a use for. So then we'll draw some, or gain some resources. We will discard Elven Light to add a resource to Aragorn's pool, and then we'll use a resource from Arwen to play Elven Light, goes back to our hand, and we'll draw a card, and it is Gandalf. So that's very, very nice. Okay, so I'm not going to go ahead and play Gandalf right now. There's not too much of a need. So we will go ahead and just quest here. We just need to place 2 progress tokens on location, so we should be good with that. Alright, Collapse Mine. So that's 4 threat, and we have 6, 12 willpower, so we're going to go ahead and place the 2 we need there, and that will go in the discard pile. And then we will be able to advance to the final stage. Oathkeepers. You've made it across the chasm and resumed the chase. The goblins rally around their chieftain outside the dungeons where the woodman villagers are being held. You must defeat the goblins' hefty leader if you are to fulfill your oath and rescue the captives. So we're going to add Goblin Chieftain to the staging area. Then it has 8 quest points. While there are at least 8 progress tokens on the stage, Goblin Chieftain loses. The text cannot take damage. The stage cannot be defeated while Goblin Chieftain is in play. When the stage is defeated, the heroes rescue the captives, fulfilling their oaths, and the players win the game. So, that is that. We're going to go ahead and, I guess, let's go ahead and travel to the collapsed mine. Neither of these enemies will engage us because the Goblin Chieftain is at 40 engagement cost, and the Sniper is at 48. So, none of those will engage us, which is good because there's no use in actually attacking the Goblin Chieftain because he can't take damage. So that's good, and just let me point out, those X's are all now 4s because this is stage 4, so now he's 4 threat, 4 attack, 4 defense, and so on and so forth. The last thing where there would be the, whenever he attacks, he removes 4 progress tokens from the location. So this is going to be a big fight, right? And so I really would like to be able to just place a lot of progress tokens on the location that we can actually start dealing him damage. Alright, we're at 39 threat, and we drew another Unexpected Courage, so that's nice. Let's go ahead and play that on Idrian, because that way she'll be able to defend yet one more time with her impenetrable defense with the Mithril Shirt. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and do our whole play Elven Light, gain a resource, spend a resource, and then gain Elven Light back to our hand, and draw Ancient Matham. Okay, let's go ahead and play Ancient Matham, and put it on the Collapse Mine, where we can draw 3 cards when that is cleared. And we have a Gandalf in our hand. We do have enough resources to play him, but I don't think I will. I think I'll play him on a future turn, when we can actually damage the Goblin Chieftain, and then just do 4 damage to him, which hopefully will just have us win the game. So let's go ahead and quest with a bunch of characters. In fact, let's go with everyone who has willpower. So all these tactics allies don't have any willpower, so let's not do that. Draw a card, and it's the Goblin Dungeon. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threat there, and we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 willpower. So we're going to be able to place 9 9 progress tokens. 6 of those will go on the Collapsed Mine. We're getting rid of that. And then 3 will go on to the actual quest here. Alright. And then we will draw 3 cards with Ancient Matham. So hopefully we get something good. Alright, so we get a Feint. Nice. Defender of Ramus. So that's going to be just a nice solid blocker. And then another Skinbark, but it is a unique creature, so we can't actually play a second Skinbark. So that goes into the pile of cards that we don't actually need right now. We have quite a few of those. These are really the cards that are quite useful to us right now. The ones that aren't unique, basically. Alright, or may as well be unique. Alright, so now we could go to the Goblin Dungeon, or we could just continue questing. Alright, so Watchful Eyes reads, when revealed, the first player attaches Watchful Eyes to one of their heroes, counts as a condition attachment with the text, limit 1 per hero, forced if attached hero is exhausted at the end of combat phase, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. So this is a nasty card. We do have a copy of A Test of Will that we could use to ignore that, but I think I'll save that for something even worse, and that'll essentially just ignore one of her unexpected courages. So we'll do that. We'll use Unexpected Courage to... Actually, we explore the location so she gets readied without having to use one of those Unexpected Courages even. And I forgot to mention this, but last turn, the Goblin Sniper dealt 1 damage to Idrian, which the Mithril Shirt did ignore, and that's what's going to be happening every turn until we engage the Goblin Sniper. But I'm always going to just target Idrian because the Mithril Shirt will negate that damage. So, ready everyone we have, and we're going up to 40 threat. So Goblin Chieftain would engage us, but I'm actually going to play this during the next quest phase, which I've been holding on to for quite a while now, and that'll reduce my threat by 3. So, card is Silver Circlet, which gives us +2 willpower, which is good, and I will be using that. Alright, so, yeah, let's do it right now. Pay 2 to give that to Aragorn, so now it has 4 willpower. Let's go ahead and discard Elven Light, gain 1 resource, then we will pay 1 resource to draw Elven Light, and the Northern Bowmaster. So when we engage someone, we'll be able to play him as well. That's nice. Okay, let's go ahead and play Defender Ross, which is going to cost me 2, and then we have another nice Defender. So let's go ahead and quest with everybody here. Okay, reveal a card, Goblin Tunnels. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 threat, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so 20 willpower versus the 8 threat there. Alright, then we're going to place 7 progress tokens on the Oathkeepers here. So now there are at least 8. So we can now, in fact, attack the Goblin Chieftain, which is great. Idrian's going to be ready because we explored the location, and so we can play one of these allies for free. Let's go ahead and take him. Alright, these will be shuffled into my deck. Let's do a quick shuffle, really run out of cards in my deck here. Alright. Alright, so now, well, let's just travel to the Goblin Tunnels. Then, I was going to play this card here, but I don't actually need to. So I'm just going to engage the Goblin Chieftain, so I'm not even going to worry about my threat being at 40, because I want to optionally engage him, even if my threat was lower. Alright, so now we're going to use Unexpected Courage on Aragorn to ready him, and the Goblin Chieftain is going to attack. Now, I am just going to simply use a feint card to block it, because I don't really want it to deal with an attack for a value of 4, even though Defender of Realms could just take care of it. This is easier. So now, we're going to do 4 damage with Skinbark, 3 with Idrian, then 3 with Aragorn, 2 with the Northern Bowmaster, and then 2 with each of the Runemark Knights, and then 1 with Defender of Realms. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 damage. The first 4 of those will be blocked by his 4 armor, and the last 15 damage will be dealt to him, defeating him. And that is the end of the game. This table here does look quite messy. There's not too much room to try and cram all the cards on the table, but our guys have a lot of stuff here, so they're all very strong, and we were able to do tons of damage to that guy there, so he is very, very dead. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the back of the card here. Check the final threat of the player at the highest threat. If it is under 40, you have rescued a retired ranger who shares his wisdom with you. Each player may add 1 copy of Ranger Sense to their deck and to the campaign pool. At the start of your next campaign, each player may also shuffle 1 copy of Ranger Sense into their deck and add to the campaign pool. You have rescued the captives and fulfilled your oath. What goblins remain flee in terror of your wrath, and your journey is untroubled. The villagers who survived thank you endlessly for returning them to their village. They invited you to stay and live among them in honor, but your allegiance is in other lords, and many journeys still await you. After a good night's rest, you depart in the morning. Okay, so our threat is at 40, so technically we don't actually get the card, but I could have easily just played this card and reduced that. Either way, let's just take a look at Ranger Sense here, which is a campaign card that is interesting. You don't actually use it in this campaign because the campaign's over, but next campaign you do get to use this card, which is kind of interesting. So it says, when playing this card, choose 1, remove Ranger Sense from the game and from the campaign pool to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand to put the rest back in any order, or draw a card. So it's pretty similar to No Time to Waste. It's okay. It's not like a great card. You know, being able to just look at the top 4 cards of your deck and add 1 to your hand to put the rest back in order. That's a good ability, but you're only able to use it once in the whole next campaign, so it's not all that impactful, but it is kind of cool. But it won't make the game, like, I don't know, necessarily too much easier or whatever. So that was the Caves of Nibin-Dum, second part of the 2-part campaign, the Dark of Mirkwood, which, I must say, can be used as an extension for the core set campaign, so that has 3 scenarios in it, and then you could actually play these 2 scenarios after the core set's campaign to make a slightly longer 5-scenario long campaign, which is kind of a neat thing. They have some flexibility if you want to just play it as a standalone campaign or as a campaign that is combined with the core set to create a 5-scenario long campaign. So either way you want to play it, you're able to do that. And yeah, that was a nice fun game there. And thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to Maelstrom Gaming to see more content just like this. And until next time, happy gaming!